than this 500 acres on 1/5 the land.
Not only that, at what point in time does that become pollution? Like
Well,
if you were talking about
a pollution factor. Yeah.
But, I mean, just whatever the panels are, like whatever that area is, like what have you done to that area? I know we don't think about, we just think about it as land, but that's part of Earth. So you've covered part of Earth with these fucking panels.
Yeah.
It looks gross. The turbines look gross too. I went down to, I was going down to South Texas and I drove past this turbine farm. Right. And I'm like, how is that not bothering people? It's like eye pollution. You're looking at these things that are these giant machines that are spinning instead of just the landscape. It looks like we're tricking ourselves into thinking that this is like 100% clean. It's not clean if all you're looking at is turbines. If you're driving on the highway and you see hundreds of turbines with lights on them so planes don't fly into them, that's not clean. Like, that's a part of the problem. Like, that's polluting the environment.
Well, each country.
It looks like shit.
Yeah, I understand. Each country's different, so it depends what they want to do with their land. I mean, Denmark has had some success with it. Germany's had greater success with wind than they have with solar, that's for sure. But they're not dealing with it because we're still putting out we're putting out shit in the air.
It's also, I mean, it's certainly better than burning coal. It's certainly better than many alternatives, but it's not perfect.
We should talk about methane because that is not better. It's more damaging in the short term.
Methane is
horrible, and it leaks all along the line, as we say in the film. That's gas.
Natural gas.
Gas. And that we talk about it like it's some kind of savior. It's a perfect partner for renewables. That's what they sell themselves as, and they advertise it.
When they show the footage of how much gas gets released from those pipes, it's crazy.
I showed it in the film. We showed the infrared camera and how much gas is leaked. This is, you turn your gas stove on, and that's a leak right there. And that goes a long way towards destroying the atmosphere. A
lot of people are upset that they're trying to ban gas stoves in future buildings in New York City. That's a big thing. But I was like, okay, are people overreacting? Who's overreacting? And then you think about it, like, it's just for the convenience of cooking that you enjoy cooking more with that? Is it a price thing? Because nuclear would solve the issue of the availability of power.
Yeah.
But would it, I think people just like to cook with gas, which is really weird. Like if it's really bad for you and really bad for the city and for the environment, that just the fact that you don't like cooking with electric.
Well, I can't comment on that. I just know that methane has a short-term huge effect on the atmosphere. Long-term, less.
But they did recently ban it in New York City, correct?
I don't know.
Didn't they, Jamie? I think they banned it for new home construction.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And everybody went crazy. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't know about this. Maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. Like...
First statewide ban on use of natural gas in new buildings,
Yeah, because if that stuff really does lower IQs, isn't that one of the things that they've discussed?
I don't know why.
See if you could find that.
Heard that,
Yeah, see if you could find, because I remember there was something about it having an effect on cognitive function.
Yeah.
Which is, we found out, we just talked about this the other day, but we found out from leaded gas that there's a giant dip in IQ points. Not a giant one, but a measurable dip in IQ points amongst people that grew up in my generation with leaded gas everywhere.
Yeah, well, I wonder about my own brain. I guess, we've been around long enough.
Well, we're getting old, Oliver, and that's part of the problem.
Sometimes you forget
that. It has to do with childhood asthma.
Childhood asthma. That's it? Didn't say anything about cognitive function?
I even typed an IQ here, and it didn't.
Interesting.
It didn't bring up anything.
Maybe I'm conflating.
So much heat comes off nuclear that it really is not being used. As the scientist says in the film, it could heat New York City.
Yeah, so if even if it's causing kids asthma, like, it's not good for anybody then. Like, if that's really what's going on with gas. But the amount of time that it would take to get the United States, like, what would that take to get rid of all of the things that are polluting the environment, all of the things that are putting out particulates, coal and all that stuff, replace it with nuclear?
We give it that. We showed that graph from here to 2050, thinking backwards and trying. You have to get this thing going. You have to get the nuclear part going. It's going to go slower at the beginning because they take longer to build. But once they're up, the maintenance is very, very easy to do on these things. So in 2030 to 2040, if you're built, this stuff is going to start to pay off. From 2040 to 2050, it's going to be a huge run, a huge race, and we can do it. We may not get all the way to zero, but it's certainly doable. If Rickover were in charge of a program, he would push it through. But it's not just us. I mean, honestly, the Chinese are doing their part. They're trying. They're really trying because they see the problem. And, you know, for a president to say that, Xi, when he said he's going to go down to zero by 2060, that's 10 years later, that's pretty good. That's amazing if they can stick to it. But Russia, too, plays a huge role. So does India, by the way.
Well, they obviously have much more control over how things run. They don't really rely on the public's opinion or people voting.
Exactly.
But
that's okay because we have to. We're talking about the Earth here. But you know, let's talk about France. You know, France has been nuclear since 1975. They built 56 reactors in 15 years. That's pretty fast. And they're all working. Some of them are getting very old now, and they have to be either renewed or replaced, but they still have those nuclear. A lot of their electricity in France, 70%, is nuclear. They have some hydropower, and I think some gas, but not much.